this is Yuri from YNC Comics, and today's episode is, of course, very special. We are going to talk about the Incredible Hulk. That's right here. The Green Goliath. And can you check this out? Look, a new addition to my wall. We are going to talk about this issue as well. Alright, let's talk about the Incredible Hulk. But the reason I want to talk about issue 180 is because there has been a big controversy about when Wolverine's first appearance occurred. Well, solution to that question is that the first appearance of the Wolverine happened in issue 180 of the Hulk. And people probably always say yay, nay. A lot of people say no, but let me show you why. This is the first appearance, my friends. Who is in this page? The last page of issue 180 of the Incredible Hulk. Yes, this issue is called The Incredible Hulk and the Wind Howl Wendigo. And this, my friends, is Wolverine. So, case closed. This is the first appearance of the Wolverine. Alright, now that we talk about that, I want to talk to you a little bit about issue 181 of the Incredible Hulk. This is actually the first mission of Wolverine. We get to see Wolverine in action for the first time. This happens, so let me tell you a little bit about this story. This is the story of Wolverine teaming up with the Incredible Hulk to fight against Wendigo. How this happened? Well, Wolverine goes to some part of Canada where the Hulk was resting, trying to find peace, and he finds himself with Wendigo and starts fighting with Wendigo. Suddenly, Wolverine comes into the action and he finds them two fighting. So instead of him destroying the Hulk, he teams up with the Hulk to destroy Wendigo, and together they fight them. Well, the Hulk thinks that Wolverine is his friend because he's trying to help him destroy Wendigo, and it's happy and starts fighting Wendigo together with the Wolverine. And well, Wendigo has no chance against Wolverine and the Incredible Hulk. They beat him up. They knock him out. But suddenly, once Wendigo is knocked out, Wolverine turns against Hulk. And he tries to capture Hulk because remember, the Canadian government has sent him to capture him. But meanwhile, while Wolverine and Hulk are fighting, we see in the background, behind bushes, Marie and George trying to capture the Hulk. And now that they are fighting, the Hulk and Wolverine are fighting, they take advantage and take Wendigo's body into the cave because Marie wants to transfer her brother's spirit or body that is in Wendigo right now back to the Hulk. She wants to capture the Hulk and transfer this Wendigo into the Hulk so that her brother can be back. Well, the Hulk and Wolverine are fighting, but meanwhile, she's throwing a spell to put him to sleep. And meanwhile, we see the government trying to figure out whether Wolverine will be successful or not on his mission. But the general says Wolverine asked for 6 hours, so we're gonna give him 6 hours, and I believe that he's not gonna fail. He's gonna come through because he's the best weapon we have. And well, my friends, Hulk and Wolverine keep fighting. They're going against each other. We don't know right now who's winning. It looks like the Hulk is pretty much going really hard at Wolverine. But while they're fighting, Marie completes her spell and puts him to sleep. So she knocks them both down with a spell. And while she's trying to capture the Hulk, which she calls the Brute, she's trying to capture him. She notices that he's transforming back into a man, and she realizes that he's not a monster but a man who becomes a monster. So George is against this whole transferring of bodies, and he's like, I'm out of this, I'm out of here. This is not what we signed up for. I am not going for this. So he walks away, but instead of walking completely away, he actually walks back into the cage and into the cave and becomes himself a sacrifice. And meanwhile, Marie is trying to capture, it's wrapping out Wolverine into chains because she wants to make sure he doesn't escape. And she's so decisive on getting the Hulk that she grabs the Doctor. She grabs him and is dragging his body into the cave while he wakes up and gets mad and becomes green again. And he realizes that she's also tricking him and gets mad at her. But he's so mad at Wolverine for betraying or pretending to be his friend that instead of attacking Marie, he goes against Wolverine again and he tells him, I am going to kill you, I am going to destroy you, and grabs him and the chains are broken. Wolverine is able to take off the chains and fight Hulk again, and she's kind of like in shock and she runs away because she's trying to get back to Wendigo. So she goes back to the cave and she finds Wendigo there. But when she finds him, she also notices that her brother's body is next to it. And she's trying to figure out what's going on. And Hulk and Wolverine are outside the cave fighting each other, and it looks like Hulk is winning. Wolverine has to run away because the Hulk is pretty mad now and it's gonna beat him up. So Wolverine runs away, and Marie realizes that the Wendigo that she has now is not longer her brother, but George. George has become Wendigo, and she's sad, and she tells him, you owe me a debt, but it wasn't supposed to be this. And he's trying to talk to her, but he can't tell her in her words. In words, he cannot tell her why he did it, but we can read in the comic book that he did this because he's in love with her. And he breaks away from the cave and runs out, and she stays behind crying inside the cave. Meanwhile, we see the Hulk looking at Mary coming into the cave, and when he finds her crying, it touches his heart and he feels bad for her. So he goes and hugs her, and he realizes that they're both alone in this world crying because there's nobody not near them. And well, that's the end of that story, and we know that Wolverine failed the mission. Alright, now we are going to talk about issue 182. This is the first appearance of Hammer and Anvil. And remember, the Canadian government requested Wolverine to go back because he failed his mission. So now they have sent Hammer and Anvil to bring the Hulk into prison to arrest him. Well, they are successful. They have sleeping gas bombs and captured Hulk. But surprise, surprise, by the time they get to prison, the Hulk wakes up and he breaks free. Alright, so there you have it. The story of the first appearance of Wolverine, the story of how Wolverine and the Hulk went at it and fought each other, and it seems like the Hulk won because Wolverine ran away. And then we get to see how Wolverine gets called back by the government because he failed. Alright, so this is where we read and hear everything about Wolverine. But the next time we hear about him is on the Giant-Size X-Men #1. From this story, we don't hear anything about him, but we hear everything about him in this issue. This is a first appearance of the new X-Men, the second Genesis. And this is the first appearance of the Nightcrawler, Storm, Colossus, and Thunderbird. And of course, the second appearance of Wolverine after the Hulk issue 181. 180, 181, and 182, where we hear the story and where we learn about him. Alright, so, well, the reason why I brought that up about Wolverine and Hulk is because if you haven't picked up the latest issue of The Incredible Hulk, you have to go check it out. Hopefully you're lucky enough to find a copy. This copy was bought the first week it came out, the first day it came out, and it sold out. The reason is because this is the totally awesome Hulk, Weapons of Mutant Destruction. And here's the clue. The Hulk has claws like Wolverine. Alright, we're gonna make a video about this specific issue, so stay tuned and continue to follow us on YNC Comics. Take care.